Hi, my name is Kerry Mussington. I bring to you myself today. Happy International Women's Day. Wherever you are in the world, happy International Women's Day, and I hope you do not waste your life away on past experiences. Don't let that stop you from going forward. I know all too well that some people have difficulty in expressing or setting boundaries. And I wanted just for one day to bring you a short poem of something that came from my heart about setting down those boundaries. Setting those boundaries are important to focus and keep the mental health stable. So guilt doesn't set in, and we don't take it out on ourselves. And so it's important to set boundaries. Therefore, once you set those boundaries, you know your place. That they should know their place and respect those boundaries. And I think when we have boundaries, it does help you keep a stable mind because you're able to stay focused without guilt. Okay, so guilt is what holds us back, and I just want to express that setting boundaries is what the title of this poem is. So, happy International Women's Day. We rise, we fall, yet amongst it all, do not forget the boundaries, else you will fall. Shield yourself from harmful behavior. The famous words are, "Can you do me a favor?" Now there's a choice to give or receive, but will you do it just to please? Knowing what you want to do to keep you free from harm, there are men and women out there that are good at the charm, to get what they want for their own gain and own need, sending you gifts and compliments for their own greed. So what do you do when you just want to be friends? When they come round the corner in a Mercedes Benz, what's in it for you? What is your gain? Just remember, going home alone was your aim. Is one of you in fantasy, pretending all is fine? You want coffee and they want wine. You want to go home and they want you to stay. Just one more drink, it will make their day. Your intention is home, so what do you do? Do you please them or do you please you? If you mean what you say right from the start, boundaries are put into place so they can't break your heart. Make a choice and stick to it with conviction. Changing your mind, it becomes a contradiction. You open up a can of worms, leaving confusion. By setting clear instructions, you lessen the intrusion. You showed your weaknesses when you changed your mind, putting others first because you're so kind. It is kindness that costs. We understand this all too well. Sending mixed messages can cause a whole lot of hell. So be careful what you say and do when dealing with a human who is not you. Because when giving into something that is not your idea, your personality becomes entangled in fear. When you can master fear and learn to say no, you'd be in control and you won't have to go. Don't give in to things that you do not want to do, because trust me, you'll start to lose you. So when no means no, and you don't confuse the issue, you will embrace your control without needing a tissue. The choices are yours, whatever you do, but remember this, who are you? Are you a person that will cave in? Take a look at your history. Where have you been? Do you want to go back to the painful past on a friendship that may not last? Will it become bitter or will it become sweet? Wouldn't you rather be an equal and complete? So, should you take a rain check and stick to your decision? Go home as planned, wasn't that your vision? Your time is valuable and your choices are free. keep going forward. You will avoid repeating history. If you do not want that kind of attention, stay true to your word and your intention. The minute you give in and please someone else, you take a piece away, a piece of you away. Can you remember how that felt? Be on time and do it your way. Imagination, thought process. Be happy in your today. If someone wants something from you and you're not ready, just tell them the truth. You're taking life, your life steady. Friend or company, what is your desire? Take your time, you're not under fire. If they become impatient on your time, walk away, you'll just be fine. So don't feel guilty for making a choice. Speak up, speak out, you can find your voice. You're worried about letting them down and guilt sets in. But remember your past, where life has been. The choice is really yours, so what is your decision? Remember those boundaries. Remember your mission. That is a poem by myself that came from me when I was helping people with EUPD, emotionally unstable personality disorders, or any kind of unstable issues that they had needed sorting out. So when I used to currently work those workshops, setting those boundaries are very clear, because we have to own our own minds here. We mustn't be afraid of saying no for clear instruction. Earlier, I had a wonderful conversation with a female, and I always think it's good, it's great to give back. Listening to individual talk about how they create an idea, they give their time, and then people go their own way. And see, some of those things, when people go their own way, a lot of people feel rejected, abandoned, used, and they feel unworthy. And I feel, and my message to you, any of you out there, that if people are going in another direction, that is not a reflection of you. It's not even a reflection on them. It's all part of the process. It's part of the journey. And I always say this: if somebody is removed out of your circle and they've disappeared or they've gone their own way for whatever, don't crave them back. It's part of the process. It's part of the journey. That tool, because everybody as a human being has a tool, is a message for the day. Even if you meet Barbara down the road and Barbara says, "Oh, have you heard of this today?" They're giving you advice in different ways. Each person that you meet along your journey has a message for you, and it will help you somewhere along the line fit into the puzzle of what you're doing with your day, where you're going. But unfortunately, some people, they do take a piece of you and you take a piece of them, but then they might move on. That isn't a reflection of you. That is that the universe has something much better for you. Not to say that they're no good, it's just say that they're not strong enough tool to get you to where you need to go. So unfortunately, we do go through the mill of, meeting new people. But it's the expectation of that new person. What is it that you're looking for? I think it's just a basic conversation. And maybe, went out with your conversations, something amazing can happen out of that. Some people just need encouragement. Some people just need to hear some kind words. And some people, it's when you listen to people, you can relate to where they are, what they're feeling, especially when they've put in effort and then they have an idea and no one's there to help them create the idea or to go forward with their idea. Then it becomes a very lonely, quiet place. But the journey still got to go forward. You still have to go forward, okay? No matter what. You might hit a surface, but stops you in your track. Think about it. What is the issue? There is an issue, but what is the message out of the day, out of that hurdle that you've come up against? Because there is always a way forward. Setting the boundaries is for your protection as well as somebody else's protection, not to give mixed messages. This is what I am. Because people have schedules, they to schedule out their time with other people and their families, etc. But it is International Women's Day today, and I didn't want to miss out on just saying to the creations of the Almighty here right now, is that being a woman is a very difficult role, because you are and can be name called. You could be known for greatness, you could be known for somebody's complaint, and that's spread by gossip. And I think women out there have to stop tearing other women down. If you are unhappy or misunderstood or understand someone, then take a break, but don't put them down. Don't tell someone they're not good enough. Don't tell someone you don't understand them. If you don't understand them, that's not a reflection of them, is it? It's got to be an equality here. So you've got to find the right love languages to talk to one another. But most of all, how do you encourage other women, other people, And you might be a woman and you might think, you know what, I deserve this. But based on equality, at the end of the day, women like to be pampered, right? And I think that's, it goes both ways. So we have to definitely identify the need to nurture ourselves and to respect ourselves, respect our body, respect our mind, most of all, and gain some self-respect and confidence. You can look at someone, you can say, oh my God, aren't you confident? Honey, behind closed doors, people do muster issues behind closed doors. Some people don't. Some people have I don't know. Some people have such a happy life because they're in an environment with good role models. And I think that's the option, isn't it? Is finding great role models to get you to where you need to go. Because some people are they're just there. It doesn't mean that they don't want to go anywhere. Take them with you. But some people don't want to go where you're going. They're not ready quite yet. But don't forget your friends and family. And don't forget where you come from. If you are in a position where you're now helping others and involved in the community, don't forget where you come from. Those people that helped you get to where you are today. So I personally would like to shout out to my family, my children, my men, boys. Thank you for the fact that I've had children. Is I don't know how. When I look at mothers now, and they might have a child around them, because all mine are growing up now. I just realised just how difficult it is with one child, let alone 3 or more. How difficult it is to nurture a child and give them equality of attention without one feeling rejected or abandoned or anything like that, So not everything goes right for a mother. Not everything goes right for a mother. We want the best for our children. But unfortunately, our children, we have to remove that word. They're going to be our children, but the children want to be seen as men or women, don't they? Hey? And that's where the issue is. When you allow them, you don't have to allow, you have to accept. You're going to let them grow and have their own journey. All you can do as a parent, auntie, nanny, is be a good role model for these children out there. Thank you to my children for the time and the memories that I accumulated, good or bad. I often question myself, was I a good enough mother? I think I could have done better if I had to go back, which we don't go back in time. What I know now is we can't go back, we can only go forward. But if I know what I knew now today, where I empowered myself, I would have been a better mother. And my children would have had a better quality of life and a better start of life had I had a better life. And that pattern of behavior comes from your, with me, it came from my family. So I didn't know any better than to follow in the footsteps of my parents at one point. But it got to a point where some of that teaching is wrong. Some of the teaching that we learned from our parents or our loved ones or any of those that we're supposed to be role models are wrong. They're not right. They've never been right from the day one. You've got to think in education. Back in the 70s, we were scolded at school with the slipper or the cane or chalkboard chucked at you. And then you go home and get it all again. So, at the end of the day, education back then, the way to discipline children was wrong. They say spare the rod, spoil the child, spare the rod, isn't it? Something like that. And I think you can discipline your children without putting your hands on them. And be a good role model because, like I said, setting those boundaries is not to implement fear, it's to step away from the fear. It's to not implement fear into people. Are you approachable? Can someone talk to you? Are they scared of you? Or are you scared to talk out and say no? And we have to learn to say, and claim that space. We have to claim that space of ours because all said and done, when you go to bed and curl up in the bed on your own, whether you've got a man beside you or not, that feeling, or man or woman, sorry, that feeling inside of you is in here, isn't it? It's all in your mind. You contain all those memories in there and you plan these things in there. No, you don't need to speak a spoken word to understand what tomorrow's adventure is going to be in your mind. So having a happy mind makes all the difference with your personality and whether or not you're going to be approachable to other people. Women. Who's inspired me on the woman front in the past year? Do I know them or not? Right. I have to say, it inspired me. I'm inspired for those women that get up and strive to do something. Whether it works out or don't work out, when you can actually see them doing something and trying to sell a product or doing something like that. I'm encouraged by those women that are online, reaching out, trying to make a difference to other people. Sometimes their method may be a bit wrong. Don't sell out people trying to do the right thing by yourself. Always remember that, where you come from. But I admire those people that get up and do something. In particular, who stood out for me this year? Kerry Mussington. Yep, I'm going to pat myself on the back because I push and push and push. No matter through the word mental ill health, I still push to maintain a healthy, balanced mind. So I put out the awareness as much as possible. Who's joined me? So all those ladies that have joined me, you'll know who you are as well. Thank you. For anyone that has entered my life, may not be here in this journey anymore, thank you. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for injury, if it wasn't for definitely injury. Because when you are injured growing up, comes a time where you're going to say no to that. You're not going to tolerate being injured over and over again. It's like if I put this, if there is a circle here and I ask you, I need you to cross over here. How are you going to get there? You're going to cross over that side, right? But the thing is, within the circle, if you take that first direction to go over this hole to the other side, you're going to fall. Try again. Will you take the same direction knowing you've already fell down that hole? Some people do, unfortunately, they fall off the wagon or they keep repeating the same thing. I say in life, please, have your voice heard, be heard, but take another direction away around how you deal with people. Because if you want people in your life, be a positive role model. Put down your rubbish. Put down, and you know what? Please put down your alcohol as well. If you can manage drink within moderation and you're not drinking it every single day and relying on it, fair enough. There are some functioning alcoholics out there, and there are some alcoholics out there that will admit they're an alcoholic. But when you've got children, you're the role model. Is that how you're teaching them to deal with depression? You're the role model. And the reason why I bring up the alcohol is because growing up in my childhood was full of alcohol. And so that alcohol picked up on me at a very early age, and I started drinking before I was 13 years old. Again, you see, the hidden alcoholics used to hide the bottles around, and you think, what was all this arguments going on in the house? What's all the arguments about? Oh, a bottle of vodka. Oh, I call that the devil juice. The devil juice. Vodka. You're not supposed to be able to smell it, but that repulses me. When I smell vodka, it takes me back to that triggering point of the alcoholic syndrome. And what it takes with it is it wrecks the whole family. Children end up going into care. I was a child of care once. And the more as I get as an adult is the more I piece it together. I piece my life together. More and more and more. Oh my God. Parent alienation I suffered from. Oh my God. Child in care. Really? But then going back to care. See, not recognizing that you think you've got a normal family, but really when you step outside of that childhood and you're as a woman now, and a grandmother now, and you look back, you went into care again as you was a teenager. Well, you hear about all of these things, don't you, all over the news? Children in care, what chance have they got? Huh? But nobody ever really took my life serious when I think about, no wonder I was mentally bloody disturbed. No wonder I ended up with a diagnosis. No wonder I ended up with having to manage my mood swings. No wonder I felt rejected and abandoned. And there is a lot of people out there, women and men, that have had the similar journey to my own. Child care, social services involved, all of that stuff. And you don't want that in your life as you get older for your children, do you? You see, the social services missed me. Even though you're a child in care and you're in and out, they missed my abuse. They missed the fact that I was raised in an alcoholic situation. They missed all of that. So I was unprotected. They missed the fact that I was a child of child abuse. So I was unprotected. I never had a voice. I never knew how to speak out because I didn't realize I had something to speak out about, because it becomes the norm. Your life back then in that childhood became the norm. So as you see, as you're an adult now, you have to claim that inner child back and give yourself a chance to grow. And I'm finding it wonderful now to have new experiences, to write, to raise awareness, to do the things that I love. And I'm empowered by the fact that I get to tell my story. I get to help people out of situations that where I've past been, to show them the way forward, to empower them so they can have a life back and not live in that depression. Earlier today, you see, knowledge is very powerful. When you know the way, you are to help somebody and show them the way forward also. And all too often, we've all become selfish. Not a single share, not a single like. But we do know There are hidden reasons why people don't do that as well. Particularly on my platform, the word suicide prevention is a deterrent within itself. And I just want to say that all those people that are on that project, Mind Over Matter, also known as the MOM Project, Mental Health Awareness, Real Talk, Suicide Prevention, congratulations. Congratulations. Just for the simple fact that you're there, you raised your voice. Hey, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to accept education to change the outcome of where I have once been. Maybe you want to get involved and be a part of something. Maybe you want to join and don't know where to go. You don't know how to be a part or get yourself involved in events that are fulfilling, that are nourishing. Earlier today, 6 o'clock on a Monday, World Storytelling CAF. Attend that. What do I have? I sat here in my chair today and I sat like this and I'm listening to people telling their stories. So I put down my stuff and I just get in the zone into somebody else's world and I listen to the stories. And the stories are inspirational because they're of courage. They're of wisdom. They're of wise people. People that have once been there and are telling you, you don't have to stay in that pit any longer. COVID? What's COVID? I don't even know what's out in the world because here I've been creating my own world, one that makes me feel really great. I feel really heartfelt about the things that I've been doing and continue to do. But don't get me wrong, there are times where I think, I can't be bothered today. And that would be because sometimes when you're riding beside somebody else, you want to make sure that there's equality and they're putting in the same level of support that you are. And so therefore, when people don't support you, it can be a deterrent. But that's your test. Will you get up? Will you show up? Will you change the direction of what was once was? Stop holding your parents completely responsible for your depression. Because you've got to understand, and I love to say this as a parent, when I look at my parents' lives, yeah, there could have been a lot of blame because I think that if they were educated, and this is the key, in those days, back in the days, there was lack of education. And had they been educated, they too would have been a better parent than what they have been with you if you've had that kind of relationship, by the way. You've also got good parents out there, but they don't speak. They're quiet and they're reserved. And secretly, they don't know how to talk to you openly, really, about their own personal issues because they feel that you need to be a child. Perhaps they shouldn't pour it on. But you've got mothers out there that want that mother and daughter relationship. I want my best friend. That's beautiful to see. Beautiful to see. If I had the chance to have my mum again, I would hug my mum. And I would say thank you very much for bringing me here into this world. For without mothers, we would not be here. We would not have the opportunity to raise children. Even if we may be a little bit misguided about what parent is, we can find a better way to parent by getting the education. There's a lot of education now online about how to parent goodly, correctly without damaging your children. And that's what I'm saying. We can turn into women, but what kind of women are we going to be from that child? Are we going to give ourselves enough time to grow? Because I don't believe I gave myself an opportunity to love myself throughout my years because I didn't know what love was. Everybody showed me different kinds of love. Some painful, some enjoyable. Some I wanted more of and they rejected me. So you always have the world saying that you're not good enough sometimes. But you've got to remember that there are people out there that cherish you, adore you, and have given you encouragement. Don't forget those people, because I know that you've got a friends list or an associate list, and you do hear from people that say, hi, how are you? You may not have the conversation with them every single day, but the very fact that if your phone goes ping and it's Barbara, Dave, Cicely, Sharon, Tawanda, it don't matter. If it goes ping, guess what? You were thought of. Now you remember that. Each time you get a text message, you get a message, any kind of message, they thought of you even for a brief second. That takes a lot if someone's going to think of you. So you're doing some kind of impact on them, aren't you? Is it a good impact where they want more of you because you are so wonderful and so inspiring? Or is it because they just need to feed their own ego? But no, of course it's not. If people are sending you a text, it's because they're genuine and they thought of you. But what you do with that information and how you see that day, or that how they're going to help or contribute to your morning, that's up to you. Because some people can bring complaints to you, can't they? Oh, blah, 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 blah. It's not what you want to hear. How are you going to resolve that then? So really, at the end of the day, sometimes it's good listening skills. Allow someone to offload. Allow them just to talk. It's the best thing possible. But let's hope that at the end of the talking, there is a solution and a way forward. Because that's what people are looking for when they're talking to you. They're looking for a conversation. I think I have so many people on my phone, but my phone barely rings. Because we use the internet or messenger nowadays to talk to people, don't we? Most of the time. But the old telephone numbers don't ring. The house phones and things like that don't ring much now, do they? So everybody's gone into a text world. But I feel it is very good to talk and hear someone's voice. So just remember, this is me giving back today. World Storytelling Day. Terrific. And today, it inspired me to tell you mine, which was about setting the boundaries. So thank you for listening. Thank you for all of those women out there that are still standing here today. And also thank you to the gentlemen as well, all right? Because it is equality after all. But it's us women that had these children. That's what I mean. We give birth. I mean, can a man give birth? No, we can't. That's the one thing that we can do. But I wrote down, there was a list. We said, what can men do? What can women do that men can't do? Or what can men do that women can't do? You see, I think it takes two, doesn't it, to make humanity. So we have to nurture the children of today and the children of tomorrow. Take care of yourself.